Really?
Whoa!
Really? Okay, okay, we can do this. Let's do this. Come on, come on, come on, True Gamer, come on.
Whoa!
Okay. That's a little unfair, but whatever. Whatever. We can do this. We can do this. Come on. It's just Crash Bandicoot, right? I'm 9 years old again. Come on. Okay. Apparently not. Apparently not. Apparently this game is unfair. Okay. Okay. It's a video game. It's a video game. It's a video game. Okay. Oh, come on. That's not even a character in the game. So as you can guess, I'm just talking about the difficulty of Crash Bandicoot. This is my review of Crash Bandicoot Sane Trilogy for the PS4. Okay, well, all things silly aside, let's go ahead and talk about Crash Bandicoot Sane Trilogy for the PS4. So for those of you who don't know, which most of us probably already know, the Crash Bandicoot series started in the mid-90s for the PlayStation. It was just your run-of-the-mill 3D platformer. However, at the time, it was actually a pretty progressive, pretty original type of thing that was getting done, mostly with the graphics, and that's really what made the game stand out. Today, the games don't hold up quite as well as they did, but for people my age, it's probably one of the best nostalgia experiences that you could pretty much ever have. So the million-dollar question is, does this HD remake capture it or destroy it? Because there have been lots of HD remakes. I'm looking at you, Ninja Turtles, that have been not so good. But, well, I don't want to give it away too early. So I will start by this. The difficulty is the same, but that doesn't necessarily make it bad. So let's kick this review up with the graphics. So the graphics in this game is really kind of the shining point of the whole thing. Not to say that the rest of it is bad, but it's hard to describe. I guess it would be the level of detail that has gone into the recreation of this game. They have literally looked at every aspect of every level and remade it. I literally did not come across one level that seemed different. And I actually like this. It's really cool to see an accurate HD remake. And in some cases, I find myself having nostalgia flashbacks, but seeing it in a much better light. In a way, that's cool for me, because when you're a kid, you remember things as looking really, really crisp and clear, because that was the standard of the graphics at the time. So it kind of brings back that feeling, and I really, really dig that. So this game does that well. The textures all look good. The enemies look even better, and the animations have been vastly improved. Even the cutscenes have been cleaned up. So I actually think the graphics in this game are probably one of the bigger highlights. It's a true HD remake, and it looks like an HD remake. Unlike some games. Sorry, I'll stop with that joke. It's getting old, I know. Alright, well, let's go ahead and move on to the sound, because that's kind of the next bit of the remake. The sound in the game is actually every bit as good as the graphics are. Everything's been lovingly remade. The sounds have been remade. I don't really have any complaints with the sound. I have some minor things with the music, but I think that's just the nostalgia in my brain that's kind of complaining about it. Some of the songs seem different, just the way they're mixed, or they take out drum intros to certain levels. Or even the case of like the level in Crash Bandicoot 2 where the boulder's chasing you. It's missing something, and I don't know what it is. I wish I could describe what it's missing. But that's a very minor complaint. It still sounds like you remember it. They've added some things. Your enemies now have a little more dialogue, which is nice. And some slick animations have been added. I guess that's more of a graphical thing. But yeah, anyway, the sound is done quite nicely. I don't really have any complaints, so there isn't much for me to say. The music is a little different, and that's a very minor complaint. Now the gameplay is unique here, because that's kind of the big thing that people complain about. And I had that little comedy skit early on describing the difficulty. But the thing is, that difficulty was present in the other Crash Bandicoot games too, especially the first one. However, there are some things that people have complained about that are valid. The physics are different in the first one. The first game originally was actually a little more forgiving. This game, not so much. It kind of goes with the Crash Bandicoot 3 feel, but I get it. Because I'll put it this way, you don't want to have 3 games with different physics. It's just going to throw you off. It's just going to throw you off. So, I don't have any major complaints with that. I think that's a very valid thing for them to do. Problem is, Crash Bandicoot 1's platforming it wasn't built for those kind of physics. So it can be frustrating. The bridge levels are infuriating on this game. Slippery Climb, probably one of the most irritating levels I did. I had to stock up on about 99 lives to even pass that. Not to say I'm that bad at it, but it took me about 20 to 30 lives to do it. And that does remove the fun when it changes from a challenge to frustrating. Now the good thing is, to tame down the difficulty, they've made some adjustments. You get checkpoints in more frequent areas. You still get the Uka Uka mask when you need it, so I don't have any complaints on the difficulty. Now presentation-wise, there isn't much to say. It's exactly what it promises to be. It's an HD remake. So I don't have much to say about the presentation. I guess I can say that they lovingly recreate the series, the original trio anyway. They do lovingly recreate it. Every stage, every secret is there. I even remember at one point being in the warp room jumping on the polar bear, because if you do that, you get extra lives. They even kept that intact. So everything from the original game is somewhat the same, and I do appreciate that. So I really like the way they did this. They didn't try to enhance it too much. They gave it a graphic overhaul, maybe worked on some of the physics, and added some checkpoints to tame down the difficulty. All those changes are welcome in my book. So, very good. So what's the overall verdict? So on the positive side, it's a loving recreation of a series that a lot of us, at heart, enjoy. The gameplay, while not perfect, does play like Crash Bandicoot. A lot of the changes are very much welcome. And the graphics are really, really well done, as well as the animations. On the negative side, the difficulty curve can be a little bit steep. And if you didn't grow up on Crash Bandicoot, you may not enjoy the title as much as I did. But overall, the game does its job. Can it be infuriating? Of course. But I remember getting infuriated playing Far Cry, and no one hates that game, right? So I'm going to go ahead and give this an 8.5 out of 10. It's a well done recreation. It's not perfect, but it's well done.